I'm Malcolm Van Delst, and this is an excerpt from Do the Wrong Thing. We are about 2/3 through this book that opens with a woman trying to kill herself. She says, "I don't know why I tried to do it," and by way of explanation tells her life story. At this point, Ava Mueller, the protagonist, is in her mid-20s, and she wants to go back to school. Interior college classroom. Ava sits at a desk about 5 back from the front. She wears her Doc Martens and a leather jacket, while the other students wear brightly colored t-shirts, blue jeans, and white running shoes. Ava is withdrawn and frowning. The others talk and laugh. Wide shot, Ava from a distance, say from the door to the classroom. Dolly shot closer and closer, past students, aimed at the side of Ava's head. The talking and joshing around her get louder the closer we get, until it's deafening as our sense of space obscures and the hairs on Ava's head blur. Absolute darkness. Silence. After a few seconds, glug, glug, as if we're underwater, and a ping, as if someone has tapped a sewer pipe half a kilometer ahead. We hear breathing. Ava. Fuck. Breathing. Pan right, 2 small round lights come into view. We can barely make out the sound of classroom banter again. It's mixed with an old-timey documentary report on the 1963 March on Washington. Dolly forward towards the lights. The classroom and documentary report amplify. A radio dial switches stations until WELOV 108 FM. The sound of static joins the classroom talk and begins to drown out everything as the lights, which we now see are actually round, borderless windows into the classroom, merge into one in the middle of the black screen. From Ava's point of view, a desktop, a fast pan up and around the classroom and its laughing students before stopping on the door. We're elves sitting on the bottom edge of Ava's third eye. We're on a crescent moon. We're the player character in a video game. Pan down, a hand grabs a backpack leaning against a desk leg. Pan up and Dolly zoom to the classroom door and out into the hallway stop. We hear the door click behind Ava. Silence. The hallway oscillates quickly and we hear the shh. Ava's hair against her ears as she shakes her head, smashed to black. Voiceover, Ava. 4 days. I couldn't focus. I tried. Market analysis, market research, how to make customers buy, writing persuasive ad copy. I hate ads. I hate television. Even if I was going to use the industry's own techniques against it, there's no way I was going to make it through 2 years. Starting about here, it gets incredibly hard to remember what happened when. In my mind, no, that's not true. I was going to say that in my mind, events were linear and my progress and growth linear, but it was more like I was a cell, a sphere. And as I developed, bits would shoot out, or one part of me would become lopsided. My development was anything but smooth. This next bit, for example, in my outline, I put it 2 years from now. But when I Googled Public Enemy Tours, 1980s, they played Arbor in October of 1989. Which means I'd already seen Spike Lee's movie, Do the Right Thing, with Emily, no less. So that means we'd already met and begun a friendship. And even more remarkably, Posey hadn't left for Berlin yet. 3.5 months, and I started working at the Pioneer, met Emily and became her friend, which means I'd also become an anarchist. I thought I did that before meeting Emily, but I guess it happened at the same time. And at least tentatively, I started hanging out at the Punk Cafe, Nerd and Doof. Food and drink spelled backwards. Memory is imperfect. Perception lies. From the moment Rosie Perez starts dancing awkwardly and Do the Right Thing, I am captivated. 1989, the number, another summer, sound of the funky drummer. Chuck D spits out while Rosie changes from the plainest of red dresses to a blue leotard to a shiny silver boxing robe while the opening credits roll. It's not the story so much as the way it's told. Music, colors, rhythmic pacing, and cartoonish characters, sets and scenarios. Radio Raheem walking through every shot with his massive boombox on his shoulder blaring, "Fight the power." Mookie making love to Tina with an ice cube. Sal's son lamenting that his friends sneer at him for serving niggers, the Korean corner store owners. This may have been the first movie Emily and I went to see together. That would have added to its impact. I fell so friend in love with her, not to take away from the profound effect rap and dance culture would have on me and on the world, though my personal changes were still another 2 years away. Do the Right Thing made me want to be black. I remembered the old man in New Orleans who told me I must have black blood in me somewhere. I'd laughed it off at the time, but could it be? I had great grandparents that grew up in orphanages. Did I want to be black? I wanted to suffer like black people did, so I'd have energetic stories to tell instead of my insipid, droopy ones. I wanted to have nothing to live for so I could scream and dance, nothing to protect, nothing to keep silent about, music rattling around in me, coming out. That's what I wanted. But I wasn't black, at least. If I was, it wasn't much. So when Public Enemy came to town in October, I did the right thing and paid off my debts instead of spending $50 for 2 tickets. I'd have to take Posey's son because no one I knew would want to go, and thus I'd have to buy his ticket as well as mine. I couldn't go alone. I wasn't brave like that. One of Public Enemy's members, Flava Flav, wore a big watch around his neck like a child's entertainer, and the group always performed with the S1Ws, a group of dancers that dressed in army fatigues. Professor Griff, the band's Minister of Information, dressed in fatigues too. Chuck D was the only normal-looking member. The band had a comic book blockbuster movie quality that would appeal to a 12-year-old. They were, in fact, playing at an all-ages club. That place was weird. The Swans played there once. It may have been all ages, but it wasn't for kids. This was Public Enemy's first headlining tour before they got super famous. Posey would love the band's Black Power lyrics. She'd have no problem letting Gerald go with me. But I did the right thing, and I regretted it ever since.